also our great janitor who does a great job cleaning the floors. This sign looks like it's from the 1800s. I know it's a tough economy, but maybe we can spare an extra squirt of Windex. Anyway, Bob actually forgot to mention all the TV shows I've been on and all the comedy clubs I perform at all over New York City. I performed at stand-up in New York. Anyway, so did anyone go trick-or-treating this past Halloween?
Yeah.
I heard one guy. So anyway, I was always wondering, how come all these kids go around trick-or-treating, they go door to door asking the same question, and they always get the same answer, and they only want one answer, so why even ask the fucking question? Well, I'll tell you why. When I was a little kid growing up, I was going trick-or-treating door to door. I knocked on this one guy's door. He answered the door, and this guy's balding, in his 50s, he's wearing a white beater, potato chip crumbs all over his stomach. I'm like, trick or treat. He's like, trick, I'm a pedophile, get the fuck in here. Yeah, he got me when he said he had some candy called chloroform. So. Anyone here try online dating?
Yeah.
Well, a lot more of you just don't want to admit it. And so my first online date didn't go so well. It lasted 15 seconds, but it took me 150 seconds to figure out what the fuck just happened. This girl comes up to me and she's like, oh my god, are you Oren Glass? I'm like, yeah, are you Jessica? She's like, I'm so sorry, I'm not Jessica. Then, you know, a lot of girls are hesitant to meet a guy off an online dating site, which is understandable. So to ease their fears, I tell them, a recent survey showed that 10% of all marriages in the U.S. last year were due at least in some part to online dating sites. They're like, oh, that's great. I don't tell them they're also responsible for nearly 50% of all missing persons cases. But they don't need to know. And if I call them after the date, they don't respond, maybe make it 51%. I'm just kidding. No, I'm not. Anyway, I just called up a girl to set up a third date. And I said, well, do you want to go out again? And she's like, sure. I'm like, well, when's good for you? She's like, well, tomorrow it's supposed to rain, but every other day this week it's supposed to be nice. I'm like, okay, let's do tomorrow then. She's like, what do you mean? I'm like, because I want to see how you look when the rain washes away your makeup. I mean, I want to try something different. I always say you want to try something different. I can't stand everyone their status updates on Facebook. It's so constant. You get sick of them. Like, a acquaintance says, I'm getting married, and one right, oh my god, I'm so fake happy for you. But everyone has that. The only time status updates are useful is if you know someone, an acquaintance who lives alone, and they tell you when they're going on vacation. It gives you, like, you know you have a week basically to clear out their house. So everyone has status updates these days. A few years ago, even Bin Laden had his own page, Osama Bin Laden himself. And he posted a status saying, BRB, someone's at the door. And then there was a thumbs up saying, U.S. Navy SEALs likes this. So, who are people rooting for in the most recent Super Bowl? Ravens or 49ers? Ravens. So I was actually rooting for the 49ers, so I was kind of upset when they lost. So people are like, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to leave the country. They're like, where are you going to go? I'm like, Guatemala. Like, why Guatemala? It's a piss-poor country. I'm like, yeah, but they have to ship the fucking 49er women's t-shirt somewhere. And then I go there, and all these Guatemalan kids are like, tell us about President Romney! And also, they were interviewing the quarterback of the Ravens, Joe Flacco, after he was named Super Bowl MVP, and they're like, reporters like, how does it feel to be champions? He's like, yeah, we're world champions. World champions? They don't play football in any other country. The only time that would make sense is after we defeated the Nazis. You see the U.S. military celebrating two-time World War champions. That would make sense. I hate when watching the news bothers me. You know, why do we need to be reminded at the end of every story, A, what the reporter's name is, and B, what channel station they work for? First of all, I don't give a shit what your name is. Second of all, I know what channel it is because it says on the bottom left-hand corner, and it's on my cable box, and now you're telling me. How dumb do you think we are? Why? You don't see that in any other profession. I'm an accountant. I don't call my client April 14th to be like, Mr. Smith, your return's done. It's going out today. It's been a pleasure serving you. Oren Glass, Eisner Amber, LLP. So, one thing I can't stand here is the subways. I'm sure everyone can relate to that. And, I hate how everyone tries to rush out of the train, but then when they get to the stairs leading out of the station, it looks like they're looking up at fucking Mount Everest. Like some of these people, you want to help them out, give them a rope, oxygen mask, gloves. But for some of these people, it doesn't even matter. They're so fat. they take up 2 seats on the train. Excuse me, did you swipe your Metro card twice? No, I don't think so. So get the fuck up. What? No. What was that? No, don't complain to me about the airlines wanting to start charging for 2 seats. You get 2 meals with that as well. So I was recently taking a flight home from my friend's house in Atlanta, and for whatever reason, they decided to search me more in depth. Because I wear a yarmulke and Jews are notorious for blowing up planes. So anyway, this guy, he's wearing gloves, but he's feeling me all over. He has his hand down my pants, his hand on my ass. I felt it was a little overboard, so I turned to him. I'm like, excuse me? He's like, yeah. I'm like, do you work here? He's like, so he just laughed. No, I'm kidding. He actually said, oh shit, I think they're onto me. He ran away. And then I'm like, oh shit, I think they're onto me. I don't even have a flight here. And then, what makes no sense when you're on the plane is, when you go in for a job interview, it's so many background checks, they ask the most invasive questions, yet for something so critical, there's no background check whatsoever needed. This stewardess comes up to me, because I'm sitting by the emergency exit, and she's like, well, in the case of an emergency, will you be willing to assist all the passengers safely off board and assume responsibility for their lives? I'm like, yeah, I think so. Okay, he's good. And then also in the demonstration they give, why do they tell us the most obvious things but leave out the most important things and tell us how to research it? The stewardess on my last flight's like, okay, to fasten your seatbelt, take the metal end and put it into the buckle. To tighten it, pull on the loose strap. In the case of emergency landing, assume the brace position. For the proper brace position, look it up in the pamphlet and see pocket in front of you. I'm like, really? So we actually needed it. We were going down and crash landing. I'm like, what do we do? To my friend, and my friend's like, I don't know, we'll look it up in the pamphlet in front of you. I'm like, it just got sucked out the gaping hole of the plane. So I don't know what to do. I'm like, well, at least my seatbelt is pretty tight. Anyway, that's another perfect show by me. So I go to a lot of stand-up comedy myself, and I noticed that a lot of the comedians, even the really good ones, unfortunately, don't have a good way of closing their act. All right, you guys have been great. I gotta run.
Give it up for Oren Class, everybody. Oren Class. All right, couple things. We got one more comedian.